Good afternoon and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin.
And I'm Sandra Priestley. Welcome to our podcast. Happy Thursday. I'm excited
Thursday.
for this conversation because I want to dive into your letter to your grandfather.
Ah,
I should probably preface this. Like it was I think it was 2, maybe 3 podcasts ago, right? Where we talked about this letter.
yeah, I think it might have been 2. But before we jump into that, what are you drinking?
Oh, I forgot. I am just drinking water. I am dealing with some hot flashes today. So I'm just drinking water with mint and
Oh,
a big old ice cube.
and I
Yeah.
have mint, and I was thinking I'm going to do something with mint today. And
Oh,
you know what I did? I
no.
went outside to the refrigerator and I got a bottle of Grape Creek Pinot Grigio and I put
Yum.
it in my cup and it's delicious.
So
It's been
tasty.
a week and it's been a day. And I'm officially on vacation right now,
Oh, I love it.
and for the next 5, 6 days, I think.
Nice.
Um, so I'm having a glass of wine.
Good for you.
And it's, happy half hour. So,
It's a happy half hour. I know.
mhm.
Okay, so
Okay, letter.
a couple episodes ago, I was talking about how I love to connect into spirit by writing a letter. So I always write to my friend Anita, who passed away. I think she was 56. And I always write to her and I would just say, Dear Anita, usually I say, Dear Anita, what the fuck? Like, and I like just let her like tell her what's going on in my life.
Yeah.
And then I just like see what comes out on the page. Like I will say, like, what advice would you give me? And it's
Mm,
wild
yeah.
because the stuff that comes out on the page is just amazing. So there is the recap. Tell
Okay.
me what
So
happened when you did this
the
writing.
reason I'll refresh memories. The
Yeah.
reason I was writing letter to grandpa is because he came to me twice as a young child after he passed, and I freaked out and screamed. And then I was told, knock it off. Ain't
Yeah.
nobody here. So
Yeah.
I just shut my eyes when I would go to that window because I would see him in the reflection. And we're talking, and I've always wanted to talk to my grandma. When I saw the medium, the Long Island medium, and I found out about all that, I was like, oh, I want to talk to my grandma. And then we started talking about my grandpa and me seeing him. And
Hmm.
then it occurred to me, shit, he was trying to talk to me.
To say something. Yes.
And so I wrote this letter, and I'm in the beginning, it's weird because it's like, what am I supposed to do? And how is this supposed to go? And so I just started writing and kept writing and writing. And then I asked a question. And in my head, I knew what was going to be what I was going to write.
Hmm.
But as I started writing, it was not what was in my head.
I love that.
And I kept writing and writing. And then I put it up. I didn't read it because I
Okay.
was
Would have
afraid.
taken the willpower. Like I would never have been able to put it away and not read it.
Yeah,
So
I was
good for
like,
you.
I'm not ready.
Wow.
Not ready. And so, you know what? It probably has been 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Because I think when I talked to you about it, I had not read it. And then we didn't talk about it last week. So,
Right. Okay.
so I went back and read it when I had some time and some space without people around to, are you okay?
Yeah.
I lost my mind. It was the sweetest, most loving thing I've ever read. But here's where it freaked me out
Oh.
is that the things that I wrote or that he wrote
Hmm.
are things that have been messages to me in so many dark times of my life when I was alone or I was afraid and I did not know what to do, or I didn't know how something was going to work out. And I feel like, shit, has he been with me all of this time and like whispering things at me?
Wow.
And there's a clock that I have that I always call my grandma's clock.
Okay.
Well, it was his clock.
Right.
And so it's almost like I look to my grandma for him,
Right.
if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a beautiful experience. And as we're sitting here talking, I think I might ask him about some more recent things because
Mhm.
it really is, it's fun.
It
Um,
is fun, and it feels it feels so connected, doesn't it?
mhm.
Like
And
I feel so
here's what
connected.
my hypnotherapy teacher will say. You
Mhm.
might totally be making that up, might not even be real. It might just be your imagination.
Mhm.
She'd say, but it doesn't matter because it
Exactly.
brings you calmness and peace. And that's all you want anyway.
Right.
So she explains everything like that. When we start working with regression and things like that, she'll say, you don't know if it's made up, if it's real, if it's not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If they're getting closure and peace and finding comfort, that's all they're looking for.
Yeah.
So it takes the pressure off. I don't have to be right.
Yeah. And I feel as though a lot of times all we need to do is just sort of like let it go and just try. Just try it and let it go and see what happens. And if it
Yeah.
makes us feel good, like Abraham says,
Mhm.
the goal is to feel good.
That's it.
So if it makes us feel good, or if it brings us some sort of resolve or some sort of, solution or conclusion to a situation that was upsetting, or to,
Yeah.
who gives a shit?
Mhm.
Like the goal is to feel good. So let's do everything we can to feel good.
Right.
But for me, I feel like connecting into spirit, writing to my friend Anita, it makes me feel like I'm closer to her. And like you said, sometimes I could be like writing as though, like writing what I think she would be saying to me. But again, who cares?
Mhm.
Like it doesn't matter because it brings that sense of peace
Yeah.
and calm to me.
Yeah.
What's interesting though is that I have experienced myself writing things that I know didn't come from me.
Mhm.
And I have experienced myself connecting into someone who has passed and getting messages from that person that then I can verify with someone else, but messages that I did not know.
Right.
So I fully believe we're able to connect in. I
Mhm.
fully believe in intuition, but I mean, you don't have to.
No. No. Now I
You,
do,
yeah,
but not enough to try to convince you if you don't believe it's true, you
exactly.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So,
for me and it might
yeah.
not be for someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm exactly there. But yes, and
So,
I think that I love that for me, it allows me to just let go of the need to be perfect. Let go of
mm,
whatever it is. I just write and write and write. And it doesn't matter what comes out on the page. I almost pray to them, and it doesn't matter the messages that come through. I just like trust them and I write them down.
yeah.
And you know, there's no need for this like sense of being perfect, sense of being
Mm.
100%. It doesn't matter. It's like an
You get
exercise.
to put
I
down the
just,
perfectionism for a minute.
yes, for a minute.
Oh, and
But I will,
speaking of perfectionism,
yes, I am. Shall I get my crown right now? My several perfectionist awards, because I am like the queen of holding off on doing something until it's perfect.
and that is the silliest thing,
Isn't it? I
you know?
know. It is, honestly, I had to. This is sort of like worrying, like how I said
Mm.
that I could have won awards worrying. And I had to like seek out quotes that helped me kind of manage that worry until I could get to the place where I had more emotional intelligence and where I could really process things better. But in the early years, like 15 years ago, that's what I was doing. I was seeking out quotes. And I have two that I use for perfectionism that worked. One was perfection is not inspiring.
Okay. Amen.
Amen. And the other one was done is better than perfect.
Mhm.
And both of those were life-changing for me.
Do you
'Cause
feel like you're getting beyond that?
the perfectionism,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, good.
I don't feel anymore that I try a lot of things and I fail at a lot of things and then I
Mhm.
kill it at a lot of other things, you know,
Yeah.
so I don't put any emphasis now on the outcome at all. I
Mhm.
do think though that, you know, we talked a little bit before, I can't remember if it was on the podcast or just you and I, but one of my trip switch is a fear of judgment. And so it's something that I keep coming up in like numerous places in my life.
Yeah.
And I think that it's kind of the residual thing that's always there that led to my need for perfectionism. So now I'm just like, I'm fearing judgment, but I'm not worrying about being perfect.
Okay.
So we're working on level 2 now.
Yeah.
The
And
fear
I
of
would
judgment.
agree with that because I've gotten to a point where I just don't care. I'm
Yeah,
gonna do what I'm gonna do.
right.
I mean, I'm not gonna do something that's gonna hurt you unless me not doing what you tell me to do is gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
But there's still that fear of judgment. And it's interesting that you bring that up because I was talking to my coach about that this week. And I said, it's like peeling off the onion. You get this resolved, and
Yeah,
then this thing seems bigger
yeah.
than it did when you were working on this. Well, it's because that was covering it up.
Mhm. I know, what's interesting to me is that just when I think I got it licked, just when I think like, "Oh, this you know, I'm not worried about judgment here, I'm not" like, "Wow, I got it."
Mhm.
It comes back to kick you in the ass when you're not paying attention to it, you know what
Well,
I mean?
but you know what it is? It's and I don't want to say a test because I don't feel like the universe or God or whoever's testing us, but it's like you're playing a video game and
Mhm.
you get through a level and there's a lot of obstacles that you have to overcome
Yeah.
to get through that level to get to the next level. And you've got to have those skills from this level to get through that level. And so when that judgment comes up, it's an opportunity for us to go, do I want to be who they think I am?
Mhm.
Or do I want to cower and just remain quiet? Or do I
Yeah.
want to just show the fuck up and as me?
I always think it's a chance to practice.
Yes, it is that's a really good way to say what it took me a long time to explain.
But it is, it's like
Mhm.
we've learned those lessons, we've learned those skills. Now, here, I'm gonna show it up. I'm gonna show you the situation again in a little different color and see what you do, you know,
Yeah.
see how you manage it this time.
Mhm.
And it's always surprising to me because I'm not nearly as crippled by it. I'm not nearly as like crushed
Mhm.
by whatever situation it is. I mean, some situations are pretty big, but I can manage them a lot better now.
Yeah.
And I can manage that fear a lot better now. And when it rises up, I am like, oh, hello, old friend. Nice
I
to see
remember you.
here we are.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel as though I work through it a lot faster.
Mhm.
I recognize it as a thought outside of me. You know, I
Yeah.
recognize it as like a human thought
Yeah.
that I'm having, and I observe it now instead of feeling it to the core. And I think awareness is like the most important thing. So I
Mhm.
can sit in awareness and go, oh, Okay, I'm fearful of that. I'm fearful of this situation. Is this real?
Yeah.
And so I can always go, it's not real. This is past crap,
Yeah.
and kind of work through it. Whereas I can fully say that when I was in my, like 15 years ago, when I was looking
Mhm.
for quotes, I was not here.
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah.
looking for quotes to keep me somewhat safe from that fear of judgment, or same reason that I was trying to be perfect,
Mhm.
keeping me safe from fear of judgment.
Well, when we're perfect, then no one will judge us and everyone will think we're just wonderful.
Yeah,
And God,
right.
that's
I know,
exhausting.
but then we never try.
Well,
Right.
I know I've
Or
got a new
finish.
hypnotherapy patient that
Mhm.
she was talking about how she's got to be perfect. She's got to be perfect. And she is so crippling to her
Mhm.
because she won't try anything new. She'll look at something she really wants to do. And she said, I hear you're just gonna fail. You
Ah,
can't do that. You can't do that.
mhm.
And I said, but you're failing by not even trying.
Yeah.
At least if you're trying, you might fail, but you might learn something, or you might succeed
Yeah,
and knock your socks off.
exactly.
But I get it. We all have those tendencies.
We all have our thing. I
Hmm.
have clients whose they're okay with judgment, but their trip switch is fear of rejection.
Mm,
And so it's like any time that fear of rejection comes up, it's like the brain stops thinking. That is exactly what it's like. And my one client, she'll say, "Oh, okay, I feel like I have to apologize. I just want to like pull the reins back. Whoa, 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 no,
hmm.
stop this horse."
Yeah.
Like she's now seeing it. She'll now see like, okay, this is just my trip switch. This is fear of rejection. I
Well,
can see I'm trying to avoid it. I can see I'm trying to stay safe, and that this is probably not real,
yes.
you know?
Because when we feel that rejection or the judgment or whatever,
Yeah.
we feel it and we're thinking about it. We feel it in our bodies. And
Yes.
what our brain is doing then is reaching for things that feel like that. And so you're going through your life having all of these memories pop up
Yeah.
on times that you feel like that. So you feel like you're back there
Yes.
when you're sitting here in this moment. And if we can stop long enough to
Mhm.
go, slow down for a minute,
Yeah.
what is really going on here?
Right.
And most times, it's not all that stuff from back there.
Hmm.
Most times, it's our insecurity. They looked at us in a certain way that was familiar. My
Yeah.
mother used to look at me that way.
Absolutely.
I know that look.
And it's interesting
Mhm,
because my fear of judgment, I remember I was being asked one time by a coach,
mhm,
when was the first time you feared judgment?
mm,
And I couldn't identify it. At the time, I couldn't go back there. I couldn't identify where it came from. And so she said to me, "Well, time's up." Like, but what I want you to do is journal on this, and eventually it'll pop up and blah, blah. I journaled on it
mhm.
and nothing came out. I went and had a shower, and then I just fell into the fetal position, bawling in the shower. And it was I call that the duct tape method of uncovering, because that's how it
Mhm.
felt like. It was like duct tape off my lips. Like, it was awful. And I remember at the time I said, if I have to go through this much pain, it is not worth it. If I have to go through this much pain to really step out into my coaching business, it is not worth it. And I was thinking about this time in grade 4 when I was in school, and the teacher, I thought, outed me in front of the class for being a child of an alcoholic. I mean, what? Like now I would never cry over that. Like,
Right.
I've never talked to anyone that I went to elementary school with. I mean, I don't know where they are, who they are, what they're doing, nor do I give a shit.
Right.
And I don't think the teacher's alive. And so, and I mean, let's face it, like this was the 80s. Things
Yeah.
were different in the 80s. So the idea that I would be that crushed, that sad
Mm.
was just unbelievable to me. Like I was sobbing and sobbing and sobbing. But I feel as though I was sobbing like I would have, like I should have
Yeah. At
as a
that time.
kid in 9 years old.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was, I couldn't cry in front of my
Oh,
classmates.
no.
I
Oh,
couldn't cry at school.
yeah.
I went home and told my mom, and she probably had bigger fish to fry than my grade 4-year-old or my grade 4 teacher, you know?
Mm.
And so, and she still remembers that to this day. And she said, I probably should have talked to the teacher about that. But, you know, when you're a child of an alcoholic, when you're living with someone like that's an alcoholic in the home, there's a lot going on. You
Yeah.
probably can't go and like fight off every dragon. And so she didn't. And I felt like, I guess this isn't a big deal. So I just pretend normal, right? I just
Mm-hmm.
pretended it didn't happen. But it's like it tore a piece of my soul. And when that came up again, I felt it so deeply, even though like it was like my soul was crying almost like,
Yeah.
I feel as though anytime there's now fear of being unfairly judged,
Mm-hmm.
I react as a 9-year-old. My
Wow.
body
Yeah.
and I react as a 9-year-old. I'm not thinking like my 52-year-old brain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not thinking logically. I am thinking like, gotta seek safety. Oh my gosh. Oh no, 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 no. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and the rational thought just isn't there. So the thing for me that I've learned is to just never, ever, ever act in that phase. When I feel that, I
Right.
cannot at all.
Right.
Right. And it's just emotional intelligence, because when emotions are high, intelligence is low.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's not react.
Yeah.
I would rather choose the action, if I do. And usually I choose nothing.
Mm-hmm. And I tend to, when I bump up against judgment, and I'm working on this
Mm-hmm.
because this is not the answer, and I don't know how healthy it is, but I kind of shut down. I
Mm-hmm.
get busy with things. I don't have to interact too much because
Yeah.
I've got stuff to do.
Right.
Can't sit. Would love to chat, don't have time. And it is a very much a protective thing.
Oh, for sure.
And so that's something that I'm working through right
Mm-hmm.
now with people that have a lot of judgment about me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you the answer when I find it. I mean, I don't respond, and it's not worth an argument or a fight or
Yeah.
they're going to say what they're going to say,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll find the healthy way to get there. But it's just interesting how at 52,
I know.
I thought we were supposed to be grown up
I
and have
thought,
all the answers, Sandra.
well, we have all the answers, but we may
Mhm.
we may not have internalized them all yet.
Mhm. Yeah. But it does
But
definitely feel like an onion.
it does.
And
Like layer at a time.
but I've noticed patterns that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice them in my kids. And I see them in my kids and I'm like, "Oh, shit, that's me." When you tell me that you don't like a gift or take this back, I didn't even want this kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get you a gift again. I'm not going to do it. And it's
Yeah.
that kind of a thing where I'm not mad. I'm just like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
off the list. But I noticed that there was a time that, and there was someone that I had kind of a rough history with. And I had decided in a moment to start telling a different story about this person. And I told it enough that I forgot about our difficult history and genuinely was excited. Like it's almost like I had amnesia about
Wow.
everything that had happened. And I felt deeply, deeply hurt by many, many things. And and I was even like, I can't even believe I feel like this because it was
Wow.
all gone. And so we were spending a little more time with these people, and I got caught alone. Everyone had left. We were in a big group, and everyone had left. And this person starts bringing up, well, I remember this and this and this.
Oh my gosh.
And I went, well, shit, I've forgotten, but I do too now. I didn't say that. Did not say
Yeah.
that. But I just said, well, that is not my recollection. And it was getting heated because this person was just coming after me.
Wow.
And I was so mortified because first of all, I didn't see it coming.
Mhm.
But second of all, I was ready to fight. Like, you want me to tell you? Let me tell you about it.
Let me bring my 7-year-old fists at you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And then someone said, yeah, we're going to change this subject. And I said, I think that's a great idea. And then I kind of left that area and went and started packing. I was mad for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Series. And this has been 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. And I'm still now, when I see this person, it's don't get too closely, navigating the room. How are you going to protect yourself?
Mhm.
And I'm like, how do I get back to telling the little fairy tale that I told that made me forget all of that?
Yeah.
You know?
It was tough because you're you told that story to bring you peace, and then it ended up almost putting you in a situation where you were vulnerable for her to come at you again. We
Yeah, but
gotta
I
just
don't like to
away
think
from
of it
these
that way because I can't. Because if that's the case, then I'll never be able to tell that story again. I have
Yeah.
to be okay when she does come after me.
Yeah.
That's when the healing is done.
Yeah.
Because she's going to. I mean, it's gonna
Goodness.
happen.
Yeah.
But that's what I have to heal.
Yeah.
It can't
You know,
be dependent
Dave,
on what one
you and
person.
I you and I both need to do hypnosis on fear of judgment for every day.
You know what? Maybe I will let me put something together and I'll send it to you and we can both listen to it.
We should
Um, and it won't be
see what happens.
for like 3 days because I'm going to pick up Maria first thing in the morning.
Oh,
And I'm taking off every
fun.
form of work.
Nice.
Yes. Okay. But that's the plan.
And we'll see what happens. We'll
Mhm.
check back in on the podcast
Yeah.
and see how we feel.
Okay. I want
Yeah.
you to send me some ways, send me an email,
Okay.
ways that you feel about judgment.
Mm.
And
Okay.
then I want you to flip it. How do you want to feel? So, oh, I feel insecure. I feel unloved. I feel unworthy. Then I want the flip side. Tell me those things you want.
All right.
And then I can work it in so it's your words coming back to you.
I love it.
Okay.
What a cool little experiment.
Hypnotize. I know. I love these experiments. Okay. But with that, we're out of time.
We are out of time. Wow, where did the time go?
I know. It was just
Uh-huh.
snap. Thank you, Sandra. This was awesome. And thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday on the Happy Half Hour. Bye.
Bye.